Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are on the island. We're at the Grand Hotel for the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce's annual Mackinac Policy Conference, not to be confused with the Detroit Policy Conference, which is on the other end of the schedule. But a guy who doesn't run by schedule anyway, matter of fact, I don't think he sleeps, Tom Kelly, who is the CEO of Automation Alley. Tom, it's always good to see you. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Chris. I'm doing great.
You had a great Integrate.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was record turnout. Record turnout, almost a sellout. So we were thrilled when you get over 1,000 people into a venue to talk about advanced manufacturing, AI, collaborative robotics, 3D printing. I mean, it's a nerd fest, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all this new technology.
So I was going to ask you about manufacturing 5.0.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that? what are we doing 4.0? How's it moving?
Yeah, well, we just had a huge announcement, which you probably heard about. Oakland County, we've partnered with Oakland County, $15 million to do phase 2 of Project Diamond. So, Project Diamond phase 1, we had 300 printers that we distributed, 3D printers, between Oakland and Macomb County, and 300 small manufacturers. Most of them had never had a 3D printer before. We trained them how to use it. We hooked them up into a network so that they could all participate and actually learn from each other. It was so successful. We're doing a phase 2. We're going to double or perhaps even triple the amount of manufacturers that are on this network. Manufacturers helping manufacturers in 3D printing.
What's amazing, umpteen years ago, I read a book called Mass Customization.
Yeah.
And it was all about turning things out at a mass rate.
Yeah.
But customized per, which is exactly what you're talking about.
This is what the power of additive manufacturing is. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing, to the audience, they're the same technology, right? Little differences, but for all intents and purposes, same technology. When you have additive manufacturing and small manufacturers that are able to iterate and design things, you can have true mass customization. So everybody can get what they want. It's really going to be a game changer, and it actually, for the United States, this is what we're really excellent at, Chris, designing, right?
Yep.
It's designed by Apple, made in China. Why can't it be designed by Apple, made in America? And the way that's going to happen is through additive manufacturing and 3D printing.
Well, you're absolutely right. And it's coming at exactly the right time because we're running out of people.
Well, that's exactly right. Back when I was growing up and became an engineer, we don't want to go back that far, but
You had a pencil then, right?
yeah, the slide rule, right?
Yeah.
Automation was a dirty word because there was lots of people to employ, and every time you brought in a robot or something, it cost jobs. Not anymore. To actually grow as an economy, to actually grow our productivity, we must employ automation and 3D printing and these kinds of mass customization tools. We need to be hopeful as a nation. This is going to rock the world, and the U.S. is going to be the forefront of it.
Well, I have to tell you, and a lot of it is your enthusiasm, but the way you got buy-in over the last, I'd say 3 years from the business community, because this was almost like saying, there are ghosts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because we approached it as we're all in this together and we're here to help, we're here to teach, we're not here to change and supplant. In other words, you can be part of this solution. Small manufacturers are the best innovators in the world. The problem is people are always coming at them, oh, you need this technology, oh, you need that technology, oh, take this, it's going to change your life, and it never does, right? They've become very jaded in that sense. And we came in and said, here's a printer, doesn't cost you anything, take it, and I'll hold your hand and let's work together to figure out how to use it. That's made all the difference in the world, and that's how we got the business community to really support Automation Alley's mission and vision, because we're in it together.
It's kind of interesting because when you look at smaller manufacturers, right, their workforce is family sometimes, and that comes into it. It's like if I bring this machine in,
Yeah.
Bob here, I don't need Bob anymore, and I know his whole family, etc. But it really just changes Bob's job.
Well, you know who wants the printer? Bob.
Yeah.
That's the whole funny thing, is that the owners, the family is saying, I don't know, that seems like an awful lot of money. And Bob's saying, for God's sakes, will you just bring the printer in here? Because my job will become so much more empowered if we have the ability to make the things we need. We're not getting pushback from Bob, and that's the change. Right? It used to be that Bob would say, hey, I don't trust management. And now Bob's saying, oh, for God's sakes, can management please keep up with the program? We're trying to make money here. So it's so funny that you brought that up.
Well, and there's fewer Bobs, too. That's the other thing.
Well, there's Carol's, Ted's, and Alice's.
Hey, yeah,
too.
well, that's true. No
Yeah.
kidding. Manufacturing is really being inundated by women, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's because it's become more technical. That's
Well,
a big part
I
of it.
think
You
it's
don't have
become
to.
both technical and easier to understand.
Yeah.
So it's the more technology matures, the easier it is to actually use.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So think about technology in our lives. Our iPhone or whatever we're using is so complex, but yet we use it and it's very simple to use. Right? Whereas in the old days, you might have a fax machine that you couldn't figure out how to hook up to actually work because it was so complicated to go through the settings.
Well, I know that I'm not going to be taking those jobs, that's for sure. Tom Kelly, head of Automation Alley, and it's just always wonderful to see you and your
You betcha.
enthusiasm for what's going on.
Yeah, well, keep spreading the word, Chris.
stunning.
Thank you for all you do.
Oh, we will, my friend. Trust me. You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network, and we're coming to you from the Policy Conference, the Mackinac Policy Conference, put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Holman, and we'll be back with more.